Good morning. Good morning, and welcome to the 2021 Women in Business and Regional Development International Women's Day Breakfast. My name is Simone Kane, and I will be your host for this morning. I would like to begin by acknowledging the Boandik people, the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today, and pay respect to elders past and present. On behalf of Women in Business and Regional Development, I would like to formally acknowledge and welcome this morning Mayor Lynette Martin, Anna Hawkins on behalf of Tony Passon, the very talented team from the RDA Limestone Coast, Councillor Sonia Mesnick, Councillor DeKalkis, Councillor Shirley Little, Councillor Kylie Boston, and the Honourable Claire Scriven. Welcome to our major partner, Flinders University New Venture Institute. Welcome to our platinum partners, UniSA, Galpins, Beach Energy, Southern Cross Austereo, and Commodore on the Park. I'd also like to acknowledge our silver and logo partners who contribute considerably to the network. Please take note of the logos up on the screen today and support those businesses where possible. And of course, a special welcome to everyone here today. Members, partners and friends. Without your continued support, events such as this morning's wouldn't be possible. Well, it's early starts like these when you really need a good caffeine hit, and if you haven't already taken your complimentary cup of coffee, tea or hot chocolate, please make your way over to the hot drink stand. A special thanks to Leon from Metro and Mark from Temp for their help with the coffee this morning. There's also fruit near the coffee. Please help yourself to that. Today's coffee, along with the delicious breakfast, is courtesy of Tony Varinas and the team at Metro Bakery. Thank you so much, Tony. If you haven't popped it on already, please grab your International Women's Day badge that you can find on the table and wear that with pride this special day. Today's event charity partner is the United Nations Women of Australia. UN Women exists to raise funds for and awareness of the UN Women's work, which includes promoting women's empowerment and gender equality. Tickets are $5 each, with the lucky winner taking home a special goodie basket with thanks to She's Apples. Today also celebrates 5 years of working in conjunction with the Adelaide International Women's Day Committee to hold a collaborative event. Today's event will be slightly different to the past, with the live crossover taking place at 9 a.m. to hear guest speaker Natasha Stott-Despoja. If you are unable to stay on for the crossover, there will be a recording provided for you to watch at your convenience. Shortly we'll be hearing from the Honourable Claire Scriven, MLC, Deputy Leader of the Opposition in SA's Upper House. Following this, we have a panel of local ladies who were the 2020 winning recipients of the Y-Bird Entrepreneurial Scholarships. This is such a great program to help launch a business or extend your business. So please stay tuned for that. I'm really looking forward to hearing what they've been up to for the past 12 months. Finally, I'd also like to say a big hello to our fellow friends in Bordertown, just up the road, who are tuning in live to our breakfast this morning. Danielle England, Y-Bird board member, is hosting this event in Bordertown today. It's such an important part of our network up further north, so thank you for joining in to us virtually. So please enjoy your breakfast and I'll be back shortly. I hope that you've all been enjoying your breakfast. It's so delicious. There's so much food, so make sure you keep eating while we're listening to our speakers. I'd now like to introduce the Honourable Claire Scriven MLC to the podium to share with us her journey into leadership. Claire Scriven was elected in 2018 and was immediately appointed as Deputy Opposition Leader in the South Australian Parliament's Upper House. She is Shadow Minister for Regional Development and Primary Industries and Shadow Minister for Forestry, and previously held the role of Shadow Minister for Industry and Skills. Before entering Parliament, Claire led the industry body for forest industries. She had a varied career, including public and private sector roles in management, running her own business in human resources, and many years supporting people facing significant disadvantage in employment, education, and other opportunities. Claire's policy interests are wide, and she is especially passionate about regional development, small business, and alternative education pathways. She would also like to see more regional women in state and federal politics. Claire was raised in the southeast and now lives in Port Macdonald with her husband Gerard and the youngest 3 of 6 children. You must be so busy, Claire. Please give a warm welcome to Claire.
Well, thank you very much, Simone, and welcome to everyone here in Mount Gambier and also to those who are joining us in Bordertown. Fantastic to have that as an option this year. Well done to the organising crew here. I'd also like to acknowledge that we meet on the traditional lands of the Boondik people, and we pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Now, I want to ask everyone here to do something for me. Think about whether you're a leader. If you're a leader, can you stand up, please? Fantastic. Fantastic. So here we've got maybe, I reckon, about 90% standing up. Hopefully there's at least a similar amount in Bordertown. Okay, just stay standing for a minute. For those who are not standing, I want to ask you, do you supervise staff? If you do, can you stand up? I know, stay standing up, stay standing up. Okay, if you run your own business or are self-employed, can you stand up? If you're someone that people come to for advice, whether professionally or personally, can you stand up? Do you often comment on social media posts? If so, can you stand up? I think we've got 100% here, but there's a number of other questions I could ask, and if there's anyone that's not standing up yet, I reckon if we went that way, everyone soon would be. So thank you, have a seat. I used to be a trainer, an assessor in one of my past career paths, and I did a similar sort of exercise, and that's probably going back, I don't know, maybe 20 years. And at the first question, when you ask, are you a leader, I think maybe 20% stood up. 20% in a women's group. And yet, if I went to a men's business breakfast, pretty much all of them would stand up straight away. It's just something that we seem to second guess ourselves about as women, or at least lots of us do. It was great to see also the school students standing up, the young women there, immediately realising that yes, they are leaders too. And yet, we often do limit ourselves. It's as though we don't feel that we have the right to claim leadership. Somehow that's something that other people do. And often it's what men do. But here we are all acknowledging that we are all leaders in our own different spheres. In terms of structural leadership or visible leadership, I guess it's a little bit different, and there's lots of reasons for that. Some of it's sexism, some of it is structural inequality, some of it is unconscious bias and so on. But it's great that there's a huge difference now to when I did that sort of exercise 20 years ago. So congratulations to all of us as women in acknowledging what we are and what we do. Kathy, when she asked me to speak today, invited me to talk about my journey in a position of leadership. And she said to try and be raw and real. So that's what I'm going to try and do, and hopefully there's no media here who will pick me up on that. So I've been in the role now for 3 years. As Simone mentioned when she introduced me, I'm Deputy Leader of the Opposition in the Upper House of State Parliament and also a Shadow Minister. Now, I actually didn't seek to be a Shadow Minister. I was elected in 2018 and I thought, okay, great, I'll be a backbencher and I'll learn how the processes of Parliament work. I'll get to know about media, particularly Adelaide City media, what sort of things they're interested in, how to pitch a story. I'd learn, sort of ease my way in. Well, instead I became a Shadow Minister before I'd actually given my first speech in Parliament. And that was a bit daunting, I've got to say. You have an expectation about how things might go, even in an unfamiliar environment such as Parliament, and instead it all turns out very, very differently. And interestingly, in Parliament you get no training, so there's no induction. As Simone mentioned, I used to work in human resources, and we used to joke about those companies that considered their induction telling you where the toilets are. Well, I didn't even get that. I had to find them myself in Parliament. So it's a really different kind of environment. And also, being in politics, it's there's this sense that people are waiting for you to fail. So the media, it makes a story if someone who's a bit high profile fails. So there's that sense. And there's also that sense that there are other people always wanting to take your position. So you've been promoted early, there are other people who want to be promoted. So if you fail, that actually opens up an opportunity for someone else in a way that's, I think, quite different to any other workplace that I've been in, and I've been in quite a few different ones. So what did I do? I did what, in my experience, a lot of women would do. I worked ridiculous hours. I stayed at Parliament till 2 and 3 in the morning, studying, researching, making sure I was across every little detail of every piece of legislation that I was going to be dealing with. I researched, I wrote speeches, I practiced the speeches, I practiced them again. Before any media interviews, I tried to be across every detail of anything I could be asked about. In fact, I still look back and joke at my very first one, which was, it was a radio interview, so it was just over the phone. And I think I had about 50 pieces of paper spread out in front of me so that I could quickly refer back to it, whatever it was that I was going to be asked. And that was, I think, for a university radio station, so that shows sort of the level of anxiety when I first went into this role. And I guess it worked quite well. I was able to speak confidently in the Chamber of Parliament. I didn't stuff up. I got some media stories up. But in hindsight, what would I do differently? I'd spend more time in the bar. Now, I'm not actually a big drinker, so it's not that I needed to drink more. But I would spend more time in the bar and going out for coffee with journalists and things like that, because that's actually where you learn so much. You don't have to be across every little detail of every piece of information. It's where the connections are made, sort of the chit-chat with other MPs about, oh, look, that journalist always takes this sort of approach, so watch out for that. Casual discussions about upcoming legislation and what people see as the strengths or weaknesses of it, how they're thinking about voting. And a better understanding of, I guess, personalities and how those things affect dynamics and people's attitudes, motivations, all that kind of thing. Essentially the informal mentoring, because there's no formal mentoring in the political sphere. I was asked to talk about what's hard in politics. And there's a few things. There's a few things I've got to say. First of all, people who want to play politics. So in my experience, most women that I know want to achieve stuff. We want to get outcomes for our communities or for our workplace or for whatever it might be. But there are other people. In my experience, there are more men in this category than women, but I'm stereotyping, so it's not all across the board. But more men want to play politics. And it's frustrating because you have to do it too. The nature of politics is that good policy can get totally swept away if you don't understand the politics of it, how to sell it to the community, how to make sure that you're opposing people within the parliament or elsewhere can't sort of get up a campaign that's going to derail it. You have to play the politics, and that's frustrating when what you really want to do is achieve outcomes. In terms of for women in politics, one of the frustrations is that there's still a lot of emphasis on things like appearance. People still talk about people talk about Julia Gillard and when she had a big bottom, what jacket she was wearing, those sorts of things. And that's had a bit more attention on it. I think there's a bit more awareness of trying to avoid that sort of thing now. but it certainly still happens, and still happens quite a lot. Also knowing that you're always in the spotlight, having to think about everything you say in the context of, could this be misinterpreted? Could this be used against me? And that's hard. People want to, I want to just talk and chat with people without thinking, okay, is this something that I might be saying that someone else is going to pick up and use in a bad way? And there's also a whole lot of stuff about conditioning as a woman. Now, I'm hopeful that the school students, for example, the young women who are here, don't experience the same sort of thing that I'm about to talk about. And let me know later whether you do or whether you don't. But there's this sense that you have to hide what you're good at. You might make someone else feel uncomfortable if you're successful. The sense that you kind of need to suppress your talents so that someone else doesn't feel inadequate. And it's your duty to do that. Now, I saw a couple of people nodding as I was saying that. A couple more, okay. I'm hoping that no one is, but I'm guessing that probably they are. And so one of the things I really learned in my 3 years in Parliament so far is that it's okay. It's okay to be good at something. It's okay to say you're good at something. And even as I say that, I've got these little voices in the back of my head reminding me of high school, oh, she's so full of herself. Oh, she thinks she's so good. And it's the sort of thing that women do. Sometimes we do it to each other. Often we do it to ourselves. And yet men don't do that. Men have no trouble with, that's the end of my time, with one-upmanship to each other. And I think that's really worth being aware of so that you can stop yourselves from doing it. And linked to that is confidence in your own ideas. Often as women, we preface our comments with a disclaimer. Oh, this might be a stupid idea, but you can go on with it. Or, I don't know if this is a silly question, or someone probably thought of this ages ago, but I was thinking, and so we undermine ourselves before we start, and we've just got to stop doing that. And being aware of it is really the first step towards that happening. Instead, what we need to do is know what our vision is and be willing to share it confidently. The absolute key, I think, whether you're in politics as I am, hopefully some of you might consider politics, whether you're in business, whether you're in community role, whatever it is, what is your vision? Why are you there? Why do you want to be a leader? Because that is what will get you through the hard times, and knowing what impact or change you want to affect, because that's what makes it all worth it. And for me, that's why I'm in politics, and why, despite the downsides of political life, I'm actually excited about the role that I have, and I know I'm very privileged to have it. Because for many years, I also worked with people with disadvantages, so helping people into work, overcoming issues such as violence, disrupted education, poverty, unstable housing, all sorts of big barriers. And I really loved that work, and it was very rewarding because you could actually see the impact on individuals when you had a good outcome. But the issues were systemic. The issues were much broader than the people I could see. I was one individual. And so that was really one of the things that made me want to go into politics, is you can affect those systemic issues. You can actually change the framework that affects people's lives. You can impact the economy of our state and make sure that it's robust. You can make South Australia a better and fairer place to live with more opportunities for everybody. And that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing when you realise that that's what you can do as a leader, in this case in a political sphere. And that's why I want to be a leader, and why I'm so glad that I'm in the position that I am. So if there's a couple of takeaway messages, I think they're these. Have a mentor, male or female, and you don't need to have just one mentor. You might have a dozen different mentors for specific small things, or half a dozen. Learn from people, because even if they're not willing to share that knowledge, as sometimes they won't be, you can still learn by having those informal kind of networks. Be aware that sometimes you'll just be in the right place at the right time, and be willing to step up when you see that opportunity. Don't second guess yourself. Don't think, oh, maybe someone else is more worthy. Just do it. And be willing to learn from your mistakes. And that's something that we all say all the time, but I would actually add to that. Be willing to laugh at your mistakes as well, because that's where you make sure that you don't take the downsides, the bad things too seriously. You actually focus on the good things, and you just have a laugh at where you've messed up and say, great, this is something that I can learn from. You don't have to have it right every single time. Men don't, and as women, we don't need to either. Happy International Women's Day. Thanks.
Thank you, Claire. That was amazing. So many inspirational little nuggets of advice there. And the importance of networking at events like that we have here today. Knowing your vision and having confidence in yourself. Everything, important nuggets that we can all take away today. Yes, Claire, would you like to please come up for a little token of thanks? Lovely bottle of Kunara bubbles. Okay, well, I'd now like to welcome up our ultra creative panel for today. Welcome to Cindy Cross from Post and Rail, one half of the duo behind Lana Adams, and the infamous Dia Ind, who will be interviewing the ladies today about how they have utilised the past 12 months as recipients of the highly sought after Entrepreneurial Scholarship and Business Builder Scholarship. These scholarships have also included mentoring from Dare to Dream with Duncan Redman. Please give a warm welcome.
There's only 2 steps there. How good is it to be back in this room this year? Welcome back, everybody. Give yourselves a round of applause for getting out of bed so early. Just a little bit of a flashback. It was 5 years ago today that myself, as chair of this wonderful network, and my trusty deputy, Judy McKay, went to Adelaide and sat on table 2 at the largest International Women's Day event. The Premier sat at table 1, we were at table 2. And we negotiated the opportunity to be able to bring the event down here. So I'm just really glad that we've been able to continue that, and it's just so fantastic to be able to be patched into Bordertown as well. So kudos to all the team in Bordertown, and thank you for being here as well. So we're on a time limit, girls. So I'm going to be really strict, okay? Or you might have to be strict with me. First question goes to Lana. In what ways has the Women in Business and Regional Development Scholarship supported you and your business to grow and develop?
I think the first thing for us was even just doing the application. Marika and I hadn't launched when we went for the scholarship, and you had to do a business plan. We had a very small business plan, that we'd done probably 12 months prior, but it was a really good opportunity to just sit down and go through the business and actually do a proper, or more in-depth, I guess, business plan. And then since then, after winning it, again, we hadn't actually launched yet when we were lucky enough to win the scholarship. So to get a bit of a cash injection, as you know, when you're starting a business, everything is just going out. So we were able to use that to do some training. So we used ours to do Facebook ads. It's one of the things that we need to sort of, being an e-commerce business, that was really important. And Duncan's been amazing. Neither of us came from a business background, so to have someone to bounce things off and talk to and get some structure to the business and that side of things, and yeah, he's been amazing.
So just for those who may not know, we're referring to Duncan Redman. That's good. Excellent. Nice work. Okay, Cindy, microphone up here.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Did being part of this scholarship program make a difference to you and your business through COVID, and how did that happen?
That's a good question. So I thought I had the ball rolling pretty well before COVID hit, and I could feel that snowball of I've just had a new business start, and after it takes a couple of years for the snowball effect and people talking and organic growth to start happening, and I could feel that tingle that was happening. And then COVID hit, and I also love doing the 5-year plan. It's amazing what you can put in the 5 years that you didn't even think of doing before you write it down. And when you write things down, it becomes a thing and not a thought, which I quite liked. Because I like action. I don't just like to think about things. So that was fantastic. And then I did get a chance to see Duncan a couple of times during COVID. I actually really enjoyed my 2-hour chat with Kalina at Flinders. That was very inspiring, actually. I floated out of that conversation, so I enjoyed that as well. And the radio digital marketing that I got from there, and the campaign that I've got through SAFM has been very life-changing in that it's given me a vision, it's given me the sounding board, and I often feel like when you're a solo entrepreneur, you've only got your own head to talk to, so, and I'm not used to asking for help. That's the first, actually that's probably asking for help, so hard. I think whether it's because I've got a country background and you fix your own stuff and you never ask for help, and I've never asked for help until I got the scholarship here, and then all of a sudden, I feel like so you've got your bubble of knowledge, but entering other people's bubble of knowledge, where you overlap in the same places, obviously somewhere, but there's a lot of stuff and ideas that other people know that can really give you ideas to grow your business that you didn't even think of, and so I've really appreciated that.
And just touching on the year that was, 2020, and COVID, where did you reach out for help? Like, where?
Well, Duncan was good. This group was fantastic. Getting to know people here, and now I recognise 30% of the people in this room. Not that I've met you all yet, but you're all recognisable because I've been to events, and also knowing what person does what, so that when I do grow, I actually know I can go and ask someone. And I love being asked for help, so of course other people like being asked for help. I don't know why I didn't think of that. I feel like
It's a tough lesson. I too had to learn that lesson last year as well, so it's very important. Awesome. Thank you so much, Cindy. Back to you, Lana. Your top 3 learnings since you've started your business. I'm sure there's been bucket loads more, but if you could just nail it down to your top 3.
I learned how to do an Instagram reel last week. There was one thing. Social media it's I guess working out what your non-negotiables are. The things that have to take the priority, and for us, social media is one of those. That's where e-commerce, we're only online at the moment, so getting ourselves out there is what we have to do. And knowing that you can't do all of them. There's a lot. There's TikTok, there's Instagram, there's Pinterest, you can't do them all. So you've got to just choose a couple that you can be good at, focus on them for as good as you can be. And and really focus on what you can and doing them well. And I guess one of the other things is almost putting yourself out there. It's not something that comes naturally to me. It's not something, it's something we're constantly working at, but we've done a few pop-up shops, and just talking to people, if the conversation comes up, saying what you're doing, because you never know who you're going to be talking to or where it can lead. And I think they're probably a couple of the main things. There's, as you said,
that's
so
2.
much. That's 2.
I'm a KPI chick. I'm needing that 3rd.
I have to learn. Well, I haven't learned. I'm in the process. Books, accounting. I've never done it before.
Money makes every business go round. Very important thing to learn. Beautiful. Thanks so much, Lana. All right, back to you, Cindy. What advice would you have for someone new to business or somebody who's just got this idea in the back of their mind and they're really wanting to start one and just not really sure what to do? What advice would you give?
I love that question. Actually, when I read that, I was so excited. I've started a few businesses before, and so I've got a bit of experience in this type of thing. And I also started a business I just wanted to do for the money, and it was crap. It was crap in 3 months. It was horrible. So any advice I could give is, as long as it's your passion, if you're just starting it, because you're going to be thinking about this business that you're it's going to be in your thoughts, it's going to be your life, a lot of your life, and take up a lot of your brain power and energy. So if you're passionate about it, if it's something that you think of and you enjoy so much, it's the right step to take. So things just align when it's the right thing. And just on that also, I think it's important to start not good at it, because the only way to get good at it is to be doing it. And in that, I'll just give a quick example. I was trying to do some videoing, and I've got an idea to do. I really want to do my own cooking and gardening TV show. And in the meantime, for my followers, I like to provide videos to explain how to cook things, how to pick things, what's ripe in the garden. when I first started, I was so nervous and I thought it was all about the looks. And I'd had a few goes at filming, and then I just thought in the end, am I really going to stop my my passion being recorded and maybe helping someone because I feel like I've got wrinkles, or this outfit is not good for my two stomachs, or anything like that? Am I really going to let that get in the way of helping someone? I think that's ridiculous. So I went back on and just started imperfectly, and I mumbled and I bumbled and I cut myself on screen saying, oh, I'm good with the knife, and then, you know, obviously I edited that out, but I could do some great bloopers. And so you just have to start. You just have to start imperfectly, and there's just no way to get good at being comfortable talking in front of people, or running your business as a high, you know, the best of the best that you could possibly do. We're all imperfect. And it's, if you don't just start being imperfectly doing it, you'll never start. So I think that's...
It's kind of like that phrase, learning by your mistakes, eh?
Yeah, you sure do.
Awesome.
Don't say, I'm good with a knife, and then cut your hand.
Yeah,
That's...
self-praise is no recommendation.
Use a board. Use a board.
Use a board. Fantastic. I want to pose the same question back to you, Lana. What advice would you give to somebody who's on that premises that we can help them, push them along?
Yeah, I think what Cindy talked about was a lot of sort of what I was going to touch on too. It's, especially in the fashion and sort of industry, you do feel like everything has to be perfect. What's going on Instagram has to be, and doing our videos and putting things and how many times you do them, oh, I don't know that it's right. And eventually you just put it up, and especially if it is something about yourself. Marika and I have this little running joke that it's what the people want. Anytime we do something with us in it, or it gets the best engagement. People want to hear your story, why you're doing it, how you've got there. And I think the other thing for us would be talking to people and seeking out people who are doing similar to you, but not necessarily similar to you. We've got such a good network of people down here that are going through the same thing that you are. You know, we've been lucky enough to sort of chat to Ash from Ashley Lauren and Kelly Nodes and Katie Fox, and there's this huge network of people who are in our lane, sort of, but we're all doing our own thing. And we can all bounce off each other, and one person might be struggling with social media, but the other person is really good at the money side of things and working out GST and being registered for it and all of this, and you just talk. And you go, oh, okay, I've got someone who actually has done what I'm looking at doing 6 months before, and they can help me just navigate through that path. So, and if I know something that can help someone else that I've had to learn, I'd love to be able to share that and help people along the way. Fantastic.
Knowledge is power, and networking and going to people that you know that have got skills that are stronger than you, tap into it. That's what this network is all about, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? It's working with each other. Last question. We are on a time limit, Cindy. Okay. What's next for you in regards to your professional development? What training you're looking to keep yourself and your business relevant and current in this climate?
Well, yes,
What's on the radar?
Current on the climate. Well, I love self-improving all the time. I have many facets to my business and my passions. They all seem to meld, by the way, passions and business. And so Duncan taught me to have an umbrella, and I'm the holder of the umbrella, and I can have whatever I want under that umbrella. So that was quite good to start. But so I like to take each facet of my passion and business and take it to the next level of research. So I think there's an online presence. I'm learning a lot about it, and I can feel myself getting better and better, and but I feel like there could be more help needed in that department. So I've actually employed my first member of my team. I've got a virtual assistant now. So
congratulations.
Thank you. It's so nice to be in a team and not just be solo entrepreneur.
Yeah, there's no I in team.
I know, I just love that. So that's going to be fun, but also the financial department. So I'm normally the revenue getter. I've always been good at creating the revenue, but I'd love to know more about, okay, now that I've got the revenue, how do I not muck it up, that part?
Yes, you can have the best business idea in the world, but if you don't manage your finances, it's not going to last for very long whatsoever. Look, thank you so much, ladies, for being up here and sharing your experiences. It's been an honour and a privilege to get to know you and the businesses that you have over this last 12 months. And from the bottom of my heart, I wish you both and Marika all the very, very best as we continue to power on, representing very strong businesses in the Limestone Coast region. Thank you so much. Round of applause.
Thank you, ladies. It sounds like you've both gotten so much out of the past 12 months. And just before you run off, a little thank you again. Well done and congratulations. And what a great segue into officially launching the 2021 Women in Business and Regional Development Educational Scholarships. And to take the honours, I'd like to welcome up Tony Varinas. Tony, oh, sorry, it is Harriet. Sorry, Harriet. Harriet, would you like to come up to the stage and do the honours? Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I'm proud to announce that today we are launching our 2021 scholarships. In the past, we have had 2 scholarships, the Business Booster and the Entrepreneurial Scholarship, but this year we are introducing a third, and it is going to be called the Women Who Lead in Business Scholarship. Also, in previous years, we have had self-nomination, but this year, we have decided to open up to community nominations. We see this as encouraging those that are too shy to apply, but will happily accept a nomination form from someone else. The timelines for applications, so they open today, which is the 5th of March. No, is it the 5th? It is the 5th. They close on April the 23rd, so that's just before Anzac Day, and the winners will be announced on May the 21st. I would like to just take a moment to thank Tony Varinas for all of her efforts within the scholarship committee. She's actually streamlined the process, so anybody that has applied in the past, if they wanted to go back in and reapply, they'll find that the process is much easier, and she's also streamlined the selection of the winners. So, like I said, that used to take a long time and it won't anymore. So thank you, Tony, for all your efforts in this area. I'd also like to thank our sponsors, Dare to Dream, Southern Cross Austereo and Flinders and the MV program. And that's really it. Hope nobody's got any questions. Can everybody please fill out their raffle tickets, because Judy McKay is going to come around and collect them.
And I'd now like to welcome up Kathy to the stage to say a few words and to draw the raffle.
Thank you, Simone. What a great morning it's been, and thank you all again for taking the time to get up early and join us this morning. I'm sure you are all going to leave here very inspired by our speakers this morning. It's been great, so thank you to you all. I think this morning is leaving us with a valuable message to never doubt what you are capable of. Don't doubt yourself as being a leader or taking the next step in your business, or perhaps even starting a business venture. So once again, Women in Business and Regional Development are here as connectors for all of you for anything. So please reach out if you feel you need that. And also reach out to us about the scholarships as well. That information is going to be put up on our website, but the board is here to speak to any of you and to answer any questions at all regarding that too. I'd like to thank the City of Mount Gambier as normal for this morning, and Tali for your support It's been great to have our event here again. Thank you to Emma from Little Crafter Events for decorating the room. And if you haven't had a chance to have a photo taken at our balloon wall on the way in, please do. Don't forget to tag us on social media. We love to see your photos and to use those for promotions moving forward as well. Thank you to Blossom Bickies for the beautiful biscuits you've got on your tables this morning. Please take those with you. Once again, I just want to recognise Leon from TAMP, we did have some coffee machine issues, who was here late last night and early this morning helping us with that, and Mark from Metro. And also, I think we need to give Tony and her team from Metro a big round of applause for the beautiful breakfast that they've put on this morning. Once again, thank you so much to all our partners and our members. Your continued support means so much to us all. And events like this, as Simone has said, just don't happen without your support. And with what we've got planned, as you'll see by the calendar coming up throughout the year, we've got some really, really awesome events coming up that you can all take advantage of. So thank you so much for your support. So we can bring these to you to support women in Mount Gambier and around the region, and help to build a stronger community. Thank you so much to all of our board, and also this year we have a subcommittee of the board for events in Judy McKay, Diane and Talia as well, that are joining us to help us with the events this year. So thank you so much. Our EO, Kylie, here, thank you for all your work, and your assistant, Abby, who works externally for us as well. So thank you so much. We are also, we have out at the moment expressions of interest for regional representatives to join us with Women in Business and Regional Development as well. We have been encouraging over the last couple of years to spread our wings regionally, hence why we have our event in Bordertown this morning, and there's going to be a lot more of that sort of thing happening as well. So, like I said, we have expressions of interest out for regional reps, and I think they're open until the 29th of March. So once again, have a look on our website for those details. And also for anyone here today who may like to become involved in the network, whether it's as a partner with us or joining as a member, look on our website again or speak to any of the board, and we'd love to have your involvement. Some events we have coming up soon. We are still having our lunches, and we have a casual lunch on Friday the 26th of February, and this is going to be at Metro, so we'd love you to join us. Sorry, did I say February? February's gone, hasn't it? March, sorry. And that's just a really nice casual lunch that you can join us. And on the 24th of March, we have a professional development evening, and that is going to be based around wellbeing and building resilience, particularly for post-COVID. We've got Mandy Kuro, and we're also going to have a mental health first aider speaking at that event. And yeah, it's going to be a beautiful wellbeing event, so look out for details for that also. I would love to thank Simone Kane for joining us this morning, and come up and get a little thank you, please. It's been great having Simone host for us today, and she's done a wonderful job, I think you'll all agree, so thank you so much. And we are going to draw the raffle in a moment, and we've got a beautiful Shiz Apples basket here. So I think the girls are just quickly folding up the tickets madly. So we'll just wait for a moment to draw that raffle. But once again, thank you so much for joining us this morning, ladies. Thank you to all our speakers as well. It's been really lovely having you all join us here. And here we go. The lucky winner is Leanne Little.
Thank you, Kathy. Well, that concludes this morning's formalities. Thank you for choosing to get up early and join us here to celebrate gender equality, women's empowerment, and women's achievement. Thank you for allowing me to be your host today. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. If you don't have to rush off to work, please stay around, network, mingle, and the live link up will be beginning soon. Have a great day and a safe and happy long weekend. Enjoy.